car and she wouldn't do it. She ran home. But he was using his badge then, and we think
that's on that podcast, isn't it? That's on the podcast.
that's Jennifer, but there are two others besides Jennifer that there were no police cases on.
Oh no, yeah. Jen's here. Everyone that cool. Jen's here.
Oh, sure.
I wonder.
Hi, Jen.
Do you think it was recording you guys the whole time? I probably should look at this one. Put it up.
Oh shit! She's been recording us talking about it. Oh no.
So let me show you Carol's house. I'm going to put this back on for a second because I'm not. If I give Carol COVID, I'm.
Yeah, who's got the best background today? Let's have a look at everyone.
How do I get my picture come out?
It should.
Audio. Activate audio. Not audio.
I'm at
video.
the top.
What am I talking about? Video.
The thing you might want is at the upper. There's something called speaker view. Maybe that'll help. I'm not sure. But
I'll try.
This is Carol.
Having my pot roast.
Look at that mask, Jen. It looks like I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, I know. Can you see Deb and Tawny are over there? And then there's another crowd out. I'm going to show you them. There's another crowd.
You having a roast?
Here, let me show you the other crowd.
Okay.
Have you got a roast in the oven, Jen?
Or Carol's house. This is like, you can tell this was they have a covered patio. So this is the outside room, outside room. And then there's this squad in here. That's Jane.
You've got a bit of crew there.
And Rosie and Paul. And sorry, this is a Zoom meeting. I'm just showing them who's all here. There's everybody. You guys all see.
Hello, everyone.
They were great to you guys if you want to come in.
Bottles of Jaeger all over the table. I love it.
All the folks.
Oh, there we go.
Do you guys see who's here? Who's out there? It's Larry Crompton. So, interesting day. Larry Crompton's here. I might have to kill myself. Okay.
Who's there? Sorry, Larry.
I will tell you that Michelle had a chance to speak with him today. It went like you might thought of gone. I thought it would have gone. But she feels very good about it. It was rough and he was incredibly uncomfortable. But I'm so happy that Michelle had that moment. So these are the little things, right? The little things we have. Let's see. So we got to Sac State today. It was thank God not so hot. And I know we all have sore throats from the smoke though. But the parking, I was in the parking garage and I didn't want to go in. I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And then all of a sudden, I got in that ballroom. Well, first I was like mesmerized by that stupid drone. I put a picture of it on Twitter.
Yeah.
The drone, according to the sheriffs who are like, who are you and what do you want to know? That's welcome to Jim Rockford life. I'm Jim Rockford. I want to know. I ask, you answer my question. So the drone was awesome and it was noteworthy because it was so big. And he said, that's our super drone. And so, but I had not really ever seen a drone like this one before. And I tried to get another picture later, but it was just sizable, that's all I'm saying. And it's a super drone. So then we went in, but what was so apparent almost immediately upon walking into the ballroom, and anybody else who was there who's on this call and not coming to Carol's house right now, it was the most uplifting, like since the virus, honestly, you guys, since the virus and we've all been kind of separated from each other, I have not felt this kind of feeling in a room since we've all been sheltering in place. So more people are coming. I'm gonna move you guys over a little bit and I'll get other people in here, but I'm just gonna fill you in on it first. So yeah, the room was really, really awesome. And the energy was really amazing. And I'm online video, so if you walk in here, you will be online. You are welcome. I know, it's like, no, don't put me on camera. But so walking into that room though, it was, dare I say, joy. Like it just, I haven't felt this good since the pandemic hit. I think it was just the universal feeling of freedom. And I hope for people who weren't able to be there and who've been on this journey, I hope you felt some of that today. I mean, yesterday was a good day for justice. Mark's right, it was a fantastic day for justice, but today was the day of just spiritual renewal, like just letting it go. I swear to God, the flowers really did look brighter outside. Yeah, we have a little lighter. So you guys are feeling good?
I was just saying my heart is lighter. today.
Good. The sentencing was, I didn't know what to expect. Cheryl didn't really prepare me, but she said, you just want to be there. I thought listening to the different electeds, now I'm just going to always remind you the district attorneys are the electeds, so they're always campaigning, which explains a lot of today. But I thought that listening to the different electeds and how they come at it was really interesting. And then, so I want to hear what you guys think. I'll
Tell you what, Jen, I'd love to get your thoughts on the cell footage of him climbing up on the table and then
yeah. Okay, so that one I'm dying to hear what you guys think. I wanted to just I don't want to bias your opinion of the family statements and DeAngelo's statement till I hear your opinions, because I don't want you to feel like you have an obligation to be nice or something if I say something more moderate than you might expect. But I am interested to know what you guys thought of those of the family statements, and then we will, Mark, for sure talk about those jail things, because that was interesting. But of the family statements and his statement, please feel free to share.
I felt very, very, very sad for his family.
Yeah, they're victims as well.
Especially the niece, who seemed to treat him like a dad, and he seemed to be the niece's hero.
I thought that felt kind of weird.
I think
personally,
that's the from HBO, right? That had to be the
yeah, it's the same one. It felt weird to me, for me personally, and I'll shut up on that.
I would say, I understand that they're grieving a loss, but that was not the place to talk about it. I mean, to me, if the families want to make a statement, that's fine. And I agree that they're also victims, but I think the space for today should have been, we are so sorry that this member of our family did this.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It sounded like it could have been like they're giving
a eulogy.
Good references or something.
Oh, it's really not that bad, Uncle Joe.
No, I felt it was inappropriate. I mean, I did.
It sounded like they were giving him a good character reference for, like a job interview or something. It's like, dude, like...
all that's wiped off the table at the end of the day. Like,
it was weird.
The niece, and it's like what you thought he was, your sad reality is that you thought everyone else in your life up until that point was terrible. Well, you've just found out the one person you actually thought was a good person isn't a good person. So, like they've got some serious...
Come here, baby.
Soul search.
Show your face. I'm listening to you too. Show your face, girl.
That valid sentiment, but probably the wrong time to tell it.
Hi, Carol. These are all people who followed this case. Oh my gosh. And love and look at all those happy. Is that not the best thing ever?
Everybody has a happy day.
Is that not the best thing ever? Like she's beaming. She's always beautiful, but I'm still not forgiven for taking the picture of Carol together, because my mom said thanks a lot for making me look really old.
I think that jail cell was too nice for him.
Well, yeah. So interestingly, so in terms of legal process, it is always the time when the defendant gets to have the people who, and I'll give you an example of this, the people who love the person come and speak to them. You have to be able in your mind, and this is the hard job. If it weren't him, if it were someone else, let's say it's your kid and he fucked up, but he's trying to kick Adderall and it's still in his system and he makes bad decisions, you'd want to say that kind of thing, right? You'd want to tell the judge, look, I understand what he did was bad, but I need you to understand the context. So there's always this phase of sentencing where the family can say things. For me, what I thought was really interesting is that I did not expect to find out that he had been loved. I did expect that maybe the daughters had loved him, because that's almost like an obligatory love, right? You can't fight that one until you consciously decide I don't love you anymore. That one just is inherently there. But I did not expect that other people, including his sister, would express their love. And I immediately thought, this is even worse now, because he is unable to feel love as nourishment and to feel love as positive reinforcement for good behavior, right? He actually has love, which is like the thing that sustains us all, and he's not sustained by it. In fact, he kind of didn't care because he kept making the wrong choice. So I thought it was really interesting. Their pain has to be, I've talked with Carrie, Carrie's having PTSD as she goes through this. Carrie Rawson, because she said this is too close to her dad. These feelings and that paradox of like, that's my dad. That's a horrible, horrible serial killer. She's struggling. So we're actually timing out and going to talk a little later. She just needs to get herself together. But she said this case has been incredible in that regard. And I guess we saw it today as we heard from those people.
Jennifer, I do have a question for you. I listened to I hadn't had a chance before to listen to your statement and your victim statement, and it was really incredible. And I wrote a note to you, so I won't go into, but I wrote a long note to you on Facebook, a public note. But you had mentioned something about that, as his privilege, that he probably wouldn't be put in with the rest of the prison population. Do you know that? Or
if you even go back in the podcast, you'll find out how metric driven the Department of Corrections is. In a weird way, it kind of makes sense, because if they started to listen to all the bias on both sides, it would confuse them. So they've turned it into an incredibly metric driven process. So as you understand that, it all has to do with the points he has. Well, what the judge made sure of today, and frankly the prosecutors did this before today, is they made sure he would always be at the maximum points. So then with good behavior, your points go down, and in some cases it can go down enough that you can then move to a lower security facility. So in this case, they wanted to make sure he had the maximum points. And then I think the victims did a really good job of saying, make sure that no comforts, no special considerations that he is well, which is, by the way, a brilliant segue to the video that we saw. And I will tell you, from a survivor standpoint or victim standpoint, we've been so, I'll just name it, jerked around with everybody's story about him, from he's bad and mumbling and talking to himself, to he's just fine, to, oh my God, look how frail he looks, to no, it's all a ruse. It felt so good to just be validated that. And the thing is,
I think any survivors recognised his gait, the way he walked around in his cell. Did some survivors even go, I remember that gait now?
No, it really showed. It didn't need words, right? We didn't need drama, but we saw two things. I thought it was fascinating. We saw the preference for no light, and so I love my Greg Totten's statement even more about darkness and light, because that is a powerful part of this whole story, right? I hate the light, and then to also see that without words or without any kind of bias at all, it's just he's fine. He's tooling around. You got a plan, and that looks almost like what Ag said, or Ag said, being administrative segregation, right, Donna? Or protective custody looks like. So the word is county jails are supposedly worse, and I don't know on what scale we're measuring, but county jails are supposed to be worse than California state prisons. California state prisons are supposed to be superior to federal prisons in terms of your ease of doing time. But California prisons are also incredibly, I guess, violent. I'll go with what it is, violent, because they're highly segregated in terms of race and gangs and things. Federal prisons aren't quite the same in that way. So you're a little safer from that kind of nonsense at a federal prison, but at federal prisons, they're unforgiving and you don't get any extra. And I only know that because I have a friend in federal prison. So he will be at Sac County for an indeterminate amount of time, and Mr. Totten spoke to that. It's really a byproduct of the virus. So he'll be there for an indeterminate amount of time, but I don't care, because honestly, you guys, none of us have to live on his schedule anymore, right? There's no trial, there's no nothing. We're free. We can now figure out how to make this better for everybody. And we still have work to do to get all those victims who were not represented today. And in a weird way, what he said to me, to what I heard when he apologized, and I don't care how terse it was or unprovocative. I'm glad he wasn't provocative personally, but I feel like when he widely apologized, it includes everyone else, Susan. It includes everyone else, Sandra. It includes all of you people that were not given a seat in that room today, which I still have a hard time with, honestly. I still have a hard time with that.
Thank you.
I just want you to know that I felt like that apology covered everybody's yapping now, so we're getting. I don't know if I can get.
So
in.
I got a comment. So when that DA was starting to show those clips of him in his cell, I was like, oh no, they're going to show him masturbating on Bikini Woman.
Who went and got popcorn? Come on.
You wouldn't have seen much, would you? There's not much to see by all accounts.
But I think the fact that he did put on an act of being feeble also speaks to the fact that he must not be so extreme. I mean, how sorry is he if he was putting on an act for himself?
No, exactly.
When he actually was an able person, he would have shown up as who he is if.
I think he's sorry that he was.
When he was arrested for shoplifting, he did the same thing. He feigned a heart attack.
So,
I think the victim statements pushed him over into probably feeling bad. I mean, that's as much as he's capable of.
I also imagined he could have been apologizing to his family, not at.
That's what I thought.
Like
that's what I was going to say.
Those people.
I think he's zoned out for the impact statements. Unfortunately, I think he's zoned out.
He didn't say who he was apologising to, did he? He just said, I'm sorry. He didn't say who.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry. He may be sorry that he hurt. No, he apologized for hurting people. He didn't apologize for the act.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and everybody's sorry when they get caught.
Exactly.
You know, but if they don't get caught, they're not so sorry.
I don't think he was sorry at all. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think he was sorry. I think that was an act.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it was. I'm just glad it was like 8 words, right? Like, thank God. And the thing I thought was more interesting is how he inflated himself. And if you didn't notice, he came from his concave shell, and he was able to absolutely, his shoulders broadened.
Yeah.
He took in a big breath. He pulled up his pants. He entered his body is really what it looked like to me. I'm like,
it was a real surreal moment when he spoke. It was surreal when he spoke. I never imagined it.
No, he has a voice.
Yeah, I think
Well,
he's capable
why do you
of
think,
humiliation and anger, but he's not capable of remorse.
Why do you think he went down the route of acting all pathetic and why would he do? What was he? I know he's not.
I think it's sympathy for his family.
Why would he do it?
I think he's just a coward and trying
He's a
to avoid-
manipulator.
you know, I do improv, and I think that when you do improv, you're always thinking of your creative choices. And I think he didn't have a lot of creative choices, but feeble, frail, maybe incompetent to some extent. I still a little bit wonder if he is competent. Because I
think also he's somebody that's so used to being in control. He spent his whole life being in control. So when that was taken away from him after being arrested, the only thing he has control over at all is his own behavior.
Totally. Exactly.
And I think at times it seemed to me early in the trial that maybe he was medicated.
Yes, definitely. Definitely
was.
was.
At the beginning.
No, he was not medicated.
You don't think he was? Oh,
No,
he looked
that's
totally
the
dosed up on
That first day, and I don't even know if they medicated him that morning. He had been medicated.
Yeah.
To calm down.
Hit himself on the head when he was in the cell or something. He was trying to hit his head on the cell.
That was the day he got arrested.
Yeah, that was when he bashed his head.
That's when they medicated him.
That was the day of the arrest, right?
Right.
And again, not inflicted by the police, self-inflicted, but whatever.
But apparently it was a padded wall that he ran into.
I just wanted to say that I thought that it was really interesting that he couldn't stand up when the judge, entered at the beginning and everybody would rise and he would just sit there. But then when he got his opportunity to say something, he just kind of stood up, no problem.
Yeah.
Like Jen said, he came into his body. I was like, I just thought that was ironic.
It looked like a whole different person almost.
He did.
I watched that cell. I've just watched that cell, Jen, that cell footage just before I come on the Zoom. And I was like, okay, he's fiddling around with something. And then he just for an old man, he gets up on that table in seconds. And we were just saying before you came on, what on earth was he like in his prime? How agile was he? How strong was he? How just agility. I mean, just to do that, and as you say, cover the light again. He's still in there, isn't he? He is still in there, man.
Does he have a computer in his cell?
No.
No, I
Don't-
hope
What
not.
was that white box? Was that a printer? What was that big white box?
Oh, it looked like an archive box to me. It looked like an
It might
archive
be.
box.
It might be his papers. It might be his legal papers.
I'll see
Okay.
if I can find out. I mean, we're kind of all, it's funny, all of a sudden, all the prosecutors relaxed. They're chatting, sharing more information. You can tell by Anne-Marie's demeanor as well. She was just like, oh, you want to talk shit? Like, let's talk shit.
Are they going to release their interrogation or what?
So I don't know the plan. I don't know how much I can say.
Have a couple of drinks, and come back.
Yeah.
Why can't you say anything?
Because some stuff,
Okay.
without saying something, so you guys can all get it without me saying it.
Do you
We won't
believe
tell anyone.
What if this wasn't the finale?
Okay, thank you.
Ooh. Hello.
That's what we were wondering.
Jen, what have you just done to us?
No.
Drop the mic. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
No.
I cannot bring anything forward to explain that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say what if. And
Zodiac?
I'll just go crazy in your brains because God knows I have.
Oh, maybe.
So let me unpack that. What you're saying is, what if this isn't the end
Right.
of the whole deal?
Right.
Okay.
What if he's confessed to something else in those interrogation videos? Dun, dun, dun.
Or what if he's implicated other people as well?
Yeah, this is about as cagey as I'm ever going to get, but yeah.
And
I
there's
like this game. Let's carry
There's
on.
perhaps a lot more DNA out there that could still be matched.
We know.
You are killing us, just for the record.
We know
Yeah,
that
you literally are. We're not going to sleep now. Thanks.
many of their players, we're talking about 40 years and back there, like we're talking about a long time ago when things are really different. And I don't, how many crimes don't have associates? I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating too, because that's what I thought about. I'm just like, wow. I don't know.
Jennifer, can you speak at all to like whether or not they ever found anything at all in his home?
Yeah, so I just actually, speaking of that, so I haven't seen the photos yet, but I just talked with the officer. I just took his card out of my wallet. That's Carol's husband. I don't know if he knows what I'm doing. Anyway, so when it comes to that evidence, I just spoke with the guy who's been doing the pictures of the jewelry, and I said, I don't really care about the jewelry, but I care about the Bible verse. There's a Bible verse on one of those photographs. He goes, I don't think I'm showing that. I go, no, I don't think you are. I think the other guy did. You got to go find me that Bible verse. I need to know that Bible verse. So he's specifically on a mission with my email address to go find that Bible verse and tell us what it said, so that maybe we can start to understand spiritually. I also have one other very cool artifact that the person who gave it to me is I'm going to say 99% sure he left it in her home. And it is some scripture that has been underlined, and I want to share that with you guys. But after this, I wanted things to calm down. There's a lot of cool stuff to go back to. I have some music from Rosebud I want to share with you. Like, there's a lot of stuff I got to still do. So I'll bring all that forward shortly. But we're going to get that Bible verse. Then all you people that are experts on the Word of God, and I mean literally understanding the words and where they are and what they mean at that point in the book, because I know I'm Jewish. It's Old Testament land for me, hell and brimstone, but the idea of understanding what this means, I would love to get people's opinions on it and what they see. That would be really interesting to me. So I'll get that up so y'all can give me your analysis, because I think it's
Okay. So Jennifer, we're not ending Zoom today, are we? You're going to be continuing on with Zoom for many months.
Let's keep okay. I got really good feedback from the survey. Thank you. You guys were wonderful. And if you haven't taken the survey yet, I'll send out the link or something. I think it's on the Lawyer's Daughter's Facebook page somewhere. It's a Zoom. I put up a survey monkey thing that I just wanted to get feedback from you guys if I keep going or not, because I'm like,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please.
Oh, yes.
okay, then, which I meant that sign in MASH for those of you who used to watch MASH.
Yes, please keep doing the Zooms.
I freaking love these because I love all of us talking. So yeah, I think we should do Zooms because I think you guys bringing your opinions and what you're seeing has been invaluable to me. And you guys make me sound so smart, like instantly repeating something that you said when I'm talking to people, because I'm hearing this collective consciousness. I really have appreciated that, and thank you for making me look smart. I have a very
smart
thing. Oh, thank you. I have a very important thing I need to say, which is to correct the record, which is that Jill did not turn me into the police. You're not going to freaking believe what happened.
What?
It's not the one who turned me into the police, even though I was convinced of it. So I owe her apology for that, because she didn't turn me into the police.
No, you don't owe her an apology.
Is that the one who stood up and right
No,
before you spoke?
please do not.
Okay,
No.
I'm not gonna apologize to her, but I want you guys to know, because it's
Okay.
important that the truth.
That's different. That's a
Okay.
different.
Okay.
So what did happen, which is now you're gonna know more about me than you need to know. Back in Ventura at that time, I worked at the Ventura Theater. And that's, if you've ever heard somebody call me Henny Squid anywhere in public, Henny Squid was my nickname. And my friend Kari used to yell that out from the balcony at the Ventura Theater when people were watching the movie, just because we were teenagers and assholes. So, but the big thing about the Ventura Theater that was so cool is that the guy next door owned the bookstore, was our trigonometry teacher. Now in 1980, 79, he was our trig teacher. He was also gay. Nobody knew that, but we did. He let a few of us students know that. And also at the theater, he'd come over when we were working, because that's why you work at a theater, so you can do your homework, right? And also have fun. We would smoke marijuana and do trig, which is probably why it's gone in my brain. I don't remember trigonometry to save my life. But apparently the first place I went that Monday, which I didn't realize, was I went to Kent's store. It's called the Ventura Bookstore. It was like it was like any town has, we have the Santa Cruz bookshop, like kind of that anchor store, bookstore back then that belonged to the town. And so I went there, and I do remember that he was incredibly supportive, and he was like one of those adults I could trust, and I felt like knew me. And so apparently in the store that day, there was a customer, and they saw that I came in and immediately started talking about this. And I said something, and I bet I know what I said, because I was still incredulous, like, oh my God, I had already heard people mention me somewhere, like kind of that. Can you imagine me riding my moped up there with a log under my arm? Because that's how insane it was to me. I suspect the customer heard that, and they called the police, and that's how they jumped on me that first day so quickly. They thought they had a spontaneous confession from me in the Ventura Bookstore, which if Kent were here right now, he would be laughing so hard. But he passed away from AIDS, HIV, bullshit. So we lost him. He was wonderful, wonderful man. He saw kids for who they were, which I have to say was amazing.
How'd you find out, Jen?
I went to Cheryl and I asked her this morning.
Oh.
I said, I need to know because it's really important to know the truth. She also apologized to me. Are you going to come on Zoom? I'm gonna change seats for a minute.
Where'd she go?
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't really disappear. She wanted to let me sit down for a minute.
Oh,
Hi. I'm Debbie.
Hello.
Hi, Debbie.
Debbie.
How's everybody?
It's your
Very good.
Good, thanks. Good to see you.
And by the way, you have a fabulous haircut, and every time I see it, I'm like, she's so pretty with that haircut.
Can you guys do me a favor? Because there are so many faces right there. I don't know who's talking. So when you're speaking, hold your hand up next to your face so I know who it is. Do you mind?
It's Nat, and I don't have a picture on here. I don't have a video.
Ah.
I'm the face. I'm the faceless, but you're just, that haircut. I just love it, and you're just so adorable.
Hey, Clifford, they never said that to us. You know what I mean?
Mark, your haircut's great.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's adorable, Mark.
Oh, this is so cool.
I just felt to tell you that.
I see some faces I recognize.
This is hairstyle by COVID.
Hi, Margie.
Jen, it's Carol.
I'm here. Jen, she's listening.
So I have to laugh because all of these people are telling you not to apologize to Jill, and they're all negative towards her. So I am so glad that everybody is in your corner because you and I know how she really is. So I am glad that they have realized what type of person she is.
Oh, thank you, Carol. Thank you. That's Charlene's cousin for everybody who's listening. Very cool.
I thought that she showed her colors when she didn't ever mention Jen. I was like, what the hell?
Absolutely.
Why would you do that in that situation? Why would you? What? I just can't I can't get that through my head. Is why would you intentionally humiliate someone at such an important time in their life? That's horrendous. Absolutely.
Because sometimes life is really meta.
Well, can I say?
That is Jill. No.
Let me say, as someone, I'm 10 years older than Jen, but as someone who was, we live in a cancel culture. That's the new lingo. Someone who was canceled by her family all her life and has been canceled now by my siblings. It was always about the brothers in my family, and I can relate so well to Jen. And it.
Thank you.
It is. There is no feeling like it in the world, and my heart broke for you yesterday, Jen, in a way you'll never know. Yeah, you will. You'll know. And it's despicable, and there is no.
Thank you.
So there's no reason for it, and it's just you do not owe her an apology, and for her to do that was just salt in the wound, and I was so mad.
So Debbie, what do you think of him speaking today? I thought he really missed a golden opportunity, because he could have said something that was meaningful and heartfelt and legitimate and actually demonstrated remorse on some level. And he blew it. He totally blew it. He showed his true colors. The mask remains. He told us what he thinks we wanted to hear, and he just blew it.
But wasn't it interesting how he just immediately, the act just went away? I mean, he was clear spoken. He just stood up, very confidently. It was really something.
It was.
Oh, it
You
blew
also-
my hair back. I'm used to that little raspy, high, whispery, and suddenly this bass baritone booming voice that yet rang so hollow. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we always knew. I always knew that he had it in him. We knew he could stand up straight and act like a man. We knew he could speak like a man. And all this time he's been afraid to do that. And then on the one chance he does, that he does have to stand up and act like a man and speak like a man, and he flushed it down the toilet.
But when you think about it, the whole time so through all the victim statements and everything, it continued to chew away at him being a man, that he was not a man, really.
Well,
and so at the end, this is his chance, in a way, to show to the public, I'm a big, strong man.
Completely agree, Susan. I don't know
the whole time he did put in the act, but the act wasn't working. What he did, the murders, but the rapes also were more, as they say, more the fear, the terrorism of it was what was in those rapes. And so when through all the statements, he is the small penis, the little man, this monster is actually this puny guy, and the statements like that. Everything was cutting away, that this guy was nothing, and they were very effective, and the women showing their power. And so after it's all over, his final act is to show up, I am the man. I am the man. So that's the final vision that you see.
Nice try on his.
It was the most pointless last stand since Colonel Custard.
True.
You got it.
Did anybody else, was anybody else sort of gagged by the irony of the fact that his family statements about him talked about all those day-to-day things that families do value and love and look forward to, and the times, the holidays, and the kids? And that's what he took away from everyone else. And yet, so those are the things that matter to him. To me, it made it all the more terrible to know that he valued those things and knew what he was taking away from other people and took them away anyway. It didn't make me feel more empathic for him. It made me angrier that those were the things that he knew mattered.
Was it telling that his daughters did not say anything? His daughters did not give any statements.
No.
Right.
I've disagreed with quite a lot of people. Do you think it's a possibility? I know it's really rare to have like some kind of multi-personality disorder. But when his family talk about how loving he was and how, do you think that maybe not a personality, but a different entity to him? Where he's
No,
got
no, I know.
Mask on.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I've known some sociopaths, and that's the brilliance and the gift of being a sociopath is there is no tell. It's like that, you know, why they would make wonderful poker players. There isn't something to give them away because there is not that inner conscience that I thought Judge Bowman had a wonderful quote about how the man without a soul thinks that the soul is the, I can't remember way to put it, but the, you know, the tragic Achilles heel of the rest of us, and how we look with such horror at the person that doesn't have a soul. But that's what he thinks is, oh, you poor idiots that are burdened with a soul that you actually give a good goddamn about.
It goes from one extreme. Like I love, he quite clearly did, as Jen said, he did feel love and all this business, but then he went to the other extreme of torturing and killing people.
Maybe it's. I don't know that he felt it. By the way, it's available to him. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, you mean he experienced.
Sorry, Alicia, I didn't mean to.
I think as people, you can compartmentalize different aspects of your life, but I
That's
think
the word I was looking for.
from him, I think it must be like this whole other level of being able to say, this was a part of my life, but my family and loving my family is another part of my life. You know, it's
decompartmentalized thing.
Sociopath can
Jan?
covet. They don't love, they covet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jan?
If anyone read Jim Huddle's book, he said that Joe, like when they would have the family dinners and the family parties, that Joe would not go to them. So when the family was talking about, you know, all these wonderful day-to-day things that he did, I don't know about that. And also, Jim Huddle, just yesterday, I was texting with him. He has not talked to Sharon Huddle since the week of the arrest.
Wow.
Closeness in that family? I don't think so.
Something's up there. Something's up there.
And what did I hear that she was at, someone went to a divorce proceeding and she was there and she was laughing at the people.
Jen
and
did that. Yeah, Jen was there.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes, she was.
Jen?
Yes, she
Jen?
was. Yeah, she was at the thing and she was laughing at the
Can't
other
hear you,
victim.
babe. Your microphone's somehow weird.
Mine is?
There you go. That's better.
I was at the divorce. She was laughing at the victims, and her bullshit statement yesterday angered me and a lot of other people. Her statement, her statement she made yesterday was all about herself, not about the victims. It was all about I, me, narcissist. She's a narcissist. She doesn't care about anybody else but herself. She sickens me. I feel like walking over to her house and slapping her in the face. I'm done with her. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding.
I love it.
Me, and yes, I was at her stupid divorce. And she has a horrible reputation here in Placer County with all the other family law attorneys too. So they're talking about it as well.
That's right. I have a best friend that's a family law attorney in Sacramento, and she won't take cases if Huddle is on the other side. And this has gone on for years. She's been a nemesis because she gets the bills way up. She's a freak. There's a lot known amongst the attorneys about this woman. And the first text when my friend and I spoke, we've been friends since 17 years old. She's an attorney now in Sacramento, family law. And she said the first thing, I didn't say anything. She said, I wouldn't be surprised if she knew something about it.
I think
There was also, what she told me was in a court, she was sitting in the audience waiting for her turn, and someone was up getting a restraining order against some terrible abusive person, and she was laughing.
Yeah, I was there in person. That's what I saw. I saw it with my own eyes. Yeah, and I will tell you this, there were maybe 10 people maximum in that court. This is a huge courtroom with only 10 people. It's nothing like you're seeing in Sacramento, okay? This is out in the sticks. So it's not like, oh, gee, there were 200 people and she could have been laughing at anyone. That is not what happened. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. And the attorneys in Placer County who talk about her not working with them, because most of the attorneys will call the other attorney and work it out. She refuses to do that. She drags every single client through long years of litigation proceedings to make money. So everything Susan just said is true about her. Yes.
Yeah, and everything you just said, my friend told me as well.
Yeah.
So there you go.
They sound like a perfect match.
Yeah.
Never
Jan,
know what's
Carol.
going to happen next, right? You never know.
Jan.
It really does make you wonder if she suspected.
Yeah.
And even though I don't know, I thought her statement yesterday was disingenuous because she was, you know, she's talking about she can't trust people anymore. Well, there's only one person. You know, there's only one person who.
No, but the problem
Right.
is we live in this weird cancel culture where people think now that they're supposed to go out and right the wrongs on their own. And so I do expect that she's probably been threatened. I mean, he terrorized this whole town.
I also think she wanted to cover her ass. Noticing that statement, she said, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. I didn't know. So it was completely self-serving. It's crass and be a narcissist. I'm done with it.
Jen, are you suggesting she might be tainting a future jury?
I can
suggest Jen, you got to stop these tidbits, Jen. Jen, you got to stop these tidbits.
Yeah.
Man.
It's not a tidbit.
There's something there, isn't there? There's something
It's
there.
merely an observation.
Oh, Jen, man, come on.
I
man.
don't know anything. I'm just saying I too read tea leaves.
Observe away, my dear.
You
read tea leaves.
Jan, I have a
feel like
question.
some of the victims have said that they heard a female. So I'm just thinking, so
Jan?
that just makes.
No, actually, that was Victor's friends. Remember?
Oh, okay. Coming up to the door. Okay.
Yeah, knocking on the door. We all thought that, oh, that proves that there was an accomplice, or, you know, and there was a woman involved, but those were Victor's friends. And then remember, he said that they said that there was a cop car parked in the church parking lot.
And that it was a Sacramento County cop car. It was not a Sacramento County.
Correct.
So Sharon hid it from her own children that their father used to be a cop. What
else is she hiding?
Well, yeah, what else did she hide on his behalf?
His money.
Oh, wasn't the money part interesting today?
The money bit was fascinating. The fact that she.
Good.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I remember you said money. That was so
remember that.
Who was saying? Go ahead, somebody.
Someone's speaker's not working.
Yeah, they said just about the that the one, what I heard was the one case
Michelle
Cruz be entitled to, which is fine, you know, that's not
seriously. If there was one case that I want to just be like my
that
heart,
was Michelle's.
Right? It was Michelle, and it's like okay, if I mean when Shelley said there was,
I hope she can get it. I mean, that was heartbreaking. Her
yeah,
story.
it just I can't get past the violence. I just deep in your lungs, like oh. So yeah, when he said Janelle could potentially get some restitution, I was like, I mean, I know that the well is dry, but I also like that he imposed fines. I thought that was like, oh, you can do that. That's really cool. I mean, at least it's
maybe depending on what's under the covers with what the wife knew and when she transferred the money. Sometimes that's an important element when someone the point when someone transfers money. What do they know? And so that's always in all cases that money is involved and you're going to recover. The point when they transfer the money and what their knowledge was at that time does have some.
Absolutely.
I bet it's the first thing
right.
she did as an attorney. The very first thing that would have come into her mind after hearing he was arrested for this would be, I'm protecting myself and my daughters, and I want that pension, I want the house, I'm sure that was the very first thing that she did within a matter of a few days.
Oh,
just as a little interesting aside, if I could, Susan, you're absolutely right about trying to protect his assets. I'm a law student right now, and I just finished taking a class in community property taught by Judge Bowman. And I kid you not, he's my law professor
Lucky
for
you.
community property. And so he was talking about hiding those assets when you're going through something like this. How does it remain community property? Can someone get to it? So that was sort of fascinating.
Wait, what's the takeaway? He can hide them?
Well, it was still community property because they were still married at the time when he was arrested.
Not true. Yeah.
So I don't know.
But was
I mean,
the
again,
wife's name on the deed to the house even? Maybe Joe never let her have.
Whether it doesn't matter. See, that's the thing that Judge Bowman taught us, is it doesn't matter whose name is on the deed if it's community property, and it's assumed to be community property where people are married. So I mean, I don't know the details of the case, and the answer is always it depends, because you have to see all those facts and details, and I'm just a law student still. But he was my professor who actually taught about how you can go after the community property portion of DeAngelo's assets, even though they sold it and whatever. When he was arrested, even though she may have owned half that house, he owned the other part of it. Anyway, so it's interesting to think that they can still go after some of those assets, perhaps.
They can sure try.
Regina, you have to just jump in, baby.
Jan, I have a question.
Can't you just, I mean, at some point, or
Jan?
Hopefully a while ago, they can sign off on the property so they have absolutely no interest in it, because that's what I did when I got married. I made sure that my property was written off and there was a release, so they couldn't touch it if something happened there.
Disclaimer.
We'll have to see what the details there are, but with restitution, and while they were still married, there's probably a good presumption. Anyway, they could certainly argue the presumption that that's still community property, and they get their hands on at least half of it.
Also, I'm seeing that there's a chat going on as well about potentially Sharon being one of his victims. That's not off the table. That could be true.
Who was one of the victims?
She was one of his victims, in that maybe domestic abuse, threatening the children. But there's all kinds of scenarios you could run in your mind that would put her in a position where she would need to comply for the safety of her daughters. I would probably comply for the safety of my children's picture if they're little. Be different as they got older. But so we don't know. I'm kind of sad. I don't like to judge, but I'm a little bit satisfied judging because I just know she's not stupid. That's
He
the
got
one
his
thing.
heart broken by Bonnie, and then he seems to have met a absolute, how can I describe it? Very interestingly. So maybe, maybe he met her at exactly the wrong time, and maybe her behaviour had an effect on him doing what he did. It could work both ways, couldn't it? I suppose.
So very prompt. Can you read my lips? Very prompt. Right there.
Did you guys have to go through metal detector to get into those quote courtrooms?
No, we didn't, because there aren't any at Sac State. I'm putting something in the chat.
But they wanded us. They make us stand with our hands out, and they run the wand up and down the front and the back of us, and they look through our purses. So,
yeah, I told them they were not allowed to take my narcotics. Those were mine, legally or illegally. They're good boys and good girls that are watching, or ladies and gentlemen that are watching the court. There were far fewer today. I have to say, it was just ratcheted down a bit. I didn't get to talk to Victor. He was in the back, but I did see him talking to Paige. So Paige might have some scoop.
I talked to Victor.
So yeah, so my job this weekend, I'm gonna try to do this, is I'm gonna try to put links to all the statements by name, so that we just have a page with them on there. I bet the goldenstatekiller.com does the same thing, because that site is great, and I don't know who runs it, but they're fabulous for putting these kinds of things up. So they also may have that posted, but I want to make sure we just have a repository for them, so we can always go back and look at them, all of them, and as we try to remember what was said, or there was something important in that statement or whatever. And then I think folks are working on some way to publish them. I know I'm doing something with them, but it's completely different than what's going on around here. So there's definitely that table I showed you earlier is like some weird power table going on. So who knows what they're cooking up? It could be exciting.
Jennifer, do you know any information as far as if there's any public forum, or if Victor has shared his contact information? Because myself and another woman would love to talk to him.
So he's elusive, very elusive. I suspect there are people here today that might know how to contact him. I'm hoping as he calms down that there's going to be a way, like I'll let him land his plane basically, and then I'll see if he can come in and be available, or if he'll in some way, even if it's just a chat room, whatever, if he'll somehow make himself available, because a lot of you guys, I know there's overlap, and because you share victimhood with him, could get information from him that would be helpful. So
was Victor there today?
He was in the back. He was with Paige St. John, the reporter. I would look for any articles. I mean, they were talking, so maybe there's more coming from there.
And Victor gave me his phone number. I mean, if he says I could share it with somebody, I'm happy to share it. Victor just seems like he's happy to talk with anybody who has any information, and he's really happy. He was just really happy to talk to all of us today and the other days. He feels a lot of support from us, and
it's not over for him, no, is it? It's not over for him.
What part of the country does Victor live in?
Northern California, Auburn, Plumas County, Sacramento.
So
I spoke with Karen, who's on this call, and both of us were really, really interested to talk to him. And if any of you do know him and can just relate to him that he didn't have to apologize that, oh, maybe he was odd or unusual. I think he was a really, really smart guy. And, you know, he's very streetwise. And he has a veneer, but he is a very smart guy, and I was riveted by his testimony. I want to say, I don't know other parts that you might know that might change the color, but I really was very interested in what he had
Let
to
me
say.
see. Well, Susan, first of all, I can get you the number from Jen, so I'll do that.
Okay.
Jen, keep me honest on that. And then I need to go because they're going to do champagne. I don't know what they're doing, but if there's free cake, I'm down, because I haven't had cake in 100 years. I will, again, I'm going to keep posting stuff. Everything's up that I have except for this one I'll put up. And then this is good. I actually want to talk to you guys like later after we've all had time to just digest it, and maybe I calm down a bit and maybe get sleep. So I am so happy to have gone on this journey with you. I'm so happy for everybody listening right now.
Thank you for having us.
It is lifting like you can't believe. And there's even personal stuff I'll share with you guys later. That's been very positive and exciting. We talked crap about you the other day. You got to see. Here's Steve. Chris Pedretti. This is Steve.
Hello, I'm
Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Kristen's husband.
Steve looks like he's having a great time. Just stick a straw in that, Steve. You're away.
Just another day, another Friday. So.
This is what we do at the Pedretti.
Dang, wish I were there.
You don't need a glass. Just stick a straw in there, and it'll be fine.
Do y'all have your cocktails?
Yes.
Happy hour.
Have iced tea. Congratulations.
I am
9 a.m.
much happier. I am.
I made pot roast.
Someone made a roast. I knew someone make a roast today.
There's only one of you.
I'll bring
All right. I'm going to sign off and go socialize. I love seeing all of you, and I will catch you after the weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Jen.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing this.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Jen.